Welcome inside the locker room on a Wednesday morning. Yes, indeed. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. The smooth breakfast is in full flow. And it's that time to get into the world of great sporting action. That's what we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:15. Yours truly, Ayokunmi Kekiriekun, is one half of the duo to walk you through what's been going on in the world of sports and what is to come as well. And you know that we love to talk about not every single sport, but all sorts of sports: basketball, football, tennis, Formula One, you name it, we have got it. Welcome once again into a Wednesday installment of the show. Looking forward to sharing the airwaves with you. WhatsApp is one way to join us on the show this morning: 0911 999 0981. 0911 999 0981 is the WhatsApp number. Also join us on YouTube. Yes, the YouTube fam. We see you all. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. That is the YouTube page to join us. You can leave your comments in the chat box as always, and we'll take the messages as we get along on the show. All right, joining me to take a look at what's going on in the world of sports, the one and only sports giant himself, Ibitayo Daramola. Once again, good morning to you, Tayo. Great to have you in the locker room.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I think the shoe is starting to fit properly now. Yeah. Well, I'll get comfortable because I know it's only 30.
It's understandable, as you do something each and every single time, you get stronger, you get better, you get more in tune with it. Muscle memory then begins to build. But hey, it's going to be a fun one this morning. A couple of things that we need to get through. We're going to start in the world of football. We don't always do it like this, but this one, we have to talk about it. In fact, I was going to talk about this before we came on, but because I had to do a couple of things, I didn't have the time to jump into it. This has to do with FIFA and their silence on sanctioning South Africa, which is a mystery. But their reticence to dock World Cup points from South Africa for using a defaulter in a match fixture is casting a cloud and creating confusion ahead of this week's potentially decisive round of African qualifiers. If we remember, in that round of qualifiers, it was found out that South Africa fielded an ineligible player. But what was said is that the reports, or should I say the complaints, came after a window that they actually had a lot of back and forth over this and that. Until now, FIFA has been quiet on the issue, and we have another round of games this week. Tayo, what is going on?
Like yourself and many other Nigerians, and indeed, even people from Benin Republic and everybody in the group, Rwanda, we are all concerned and worried. This should have been automatic. I mean, they are not in denial. Fielded the player they shouldn't have. Tebo Mohena of us, Mamelodi Sundowns, and it should have been straightforward. I mean, this is FIFA's purview. It has nothing to do with CAF. Some people have said, what's CAF doing? It has nothing to do with CAF. This is FIFA's competition itself. The moment he fielded that player and it was identified that this player was not supposed to play in that game, the process should have started. And if South Africa even want to protest and take it to CAS after FIFA's judgment, that should have started. But I mean, what we have now is the silence of the graveyard. We are in the limbo. We hear nothing. So many people are quoting different rules, all from FIFA. Some say it's supposed to be 24 to 72 hours. Others say it should kick in automatically with FIFA. Nobody needing to lodge a protest. Nigeria has lodged a protest. Now we are hearing Lesotho. In South Africa, they are reporting that Lesotho said they have withdrawn their protest. We don't care because it doesn't only affect Lesotho, it affects Nigeria, it affects Rwanda, it affects Benin Republic. And if you recall, the coach of Benin Republic himself was our former coach. Was the man in charge when we were docked 3 points and 3 goals because we fielded an illegible player in the qualifier. Thankfully, that didn't affect us on the long run. But the rules are the rules, whether it affects you or it doesn't affect you. The rules are the rules. And I'm really just surprised by the way Lesotho, I'm worried about that country, the way they are behaving. They stand to gain the most. But it seems every other teams are more worried than the team that stands to gain the most, which is quite mystifying for me.
Do you think that this could be as a result of a certain brotherhood between Lesotho and South Africa? I mean, we know that Lesotho is landlocked within South Africa. So, I mean, could there be that in play here? I could be wrong, but it seems kind of sketchy that every other person except the country who is supposed to benefit from the points actually
Yeah.
are not, taking this up in arms.
I mean, you look at it, and I mean, this will give rise to speculation, and I mean, it's not also it's not founded in fact, but it's something that we should speculate on. The Lesotho national team don't have in Lesotho. They don't have a national stadium that FIFA has approved for World Cup qualifiers,
So
so
they
they
play
play
in
their
South
game
Africa.
in South Africa. They play their game in South Africa. Bulk of their players play in South Africa. So it's the brotherhood, and it's one of the most functional region in the whole of Africa. The SAFA region, South Africa Football, as in Southern Football Association region. The region is the most functional. They play in a year. They play at least 2 competitions, if not 3, amongst themselves. So there's that brotherhood. They know themselves in and out. Apart from football, sports, it's political reasons, and so many things have been raised. And yes, we won't be shy to say that, because I've done the maths, and going by the maths, they would have 9 points if 3 points and 3 goals given to Lesotho automatically takes them to second place, a point behind South Africa with a better goal difference of +2. South Africa have a goal difference of 0. So why wouldn't you take that gift? Why wouldn't you fight to be in that position? Why don't you want to go to the World Cup? That's the way it seems to me.
Right, right, right. Well, FIFA's silence, it's kind of sketchy. I mean, if FIFA have no intention of docking the points, they should have come out to say something that, okay, this is what it is. The complaints came after the window for doing that, so there is nothing we can do. But nothing has actually been said. So this has left room for a lot of speculation. And we have another round of games coming up on Friday. Interestingly, Nigeria is the only team playing on Saturday. Why? I really can't understand. But hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. We'll keep our eyes peeled on this one to see if anything will change between now and Friday. All right, let's keep things rolling here in the locker room. Let's head into the world of tennis. And we're heading to Flushing Meadows once again, where Novak Djokovic set up a blockbuster US Open semifinal with Carlos Alcaraz after delivering a gritty performance to beat American Taylor Fritz.
On Monday, we were discussing. You asked after
Yes.
Alcaraz and Sinner.
And Sinner.
And I told you this, I'll pretend. And what I said on Monday, I remember vividly, was that if we had serious tennis players, the young stars, we won't be seeing a Djokovic in the semifinals. But yeah, we are. Taylor Fritz is world number 4. He's playing in his home Grand Slam, in the USA, with the partisan crowd behind him. And yet, can't get it up against a Djokovic who is clearly injured and fighting his way through sheer grit and every other thing. Yet, Taylor Fritz, in all his career, hasn't won against Djokovic. I don't know if it's a psychological block, but I don't take any other tennis players serious except Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner. I love Djokovic. I mean, it's just...
They don't seem to be ready.
I'm a Joker fan. I'm a big fan of Joker. But what is constant in life is change. And I feel his time has come. He had a great time. He's living as the greatest tennis player ever. That might be eclipsed by either of Alcaraz or Sinner. But as it stands now, he is the greatest tennis player ever. I mean, the trophies and the wins say that. But his time has come. But they seem to fail and crumble when they see him. Well, I mean, for us who are Joker fans, we are really happy that it's through to another semi-final. We know that, unfortunately, that it might be his last game at the US Open, but it's more of a disappointment for the likes of Fritz than an excitement for the likes of Djokovic, because it shows that these guys are not ready to compete yet. These guys are not ready to push tennis to that great era where we had the 3 greats, and then we had maybe Andy Murray. The Brits would like to snake in Andy Murray to call it the Big 4. I stick to the Big 3. But you know what? It was so competitive then. I mean,
yes, it
any
was.
of those four could beat themselves on their good day. But with this present day tennis, we only have two greats, and we'll at least, it's like you said, at least it's better than the women's game, yeah, where we don't know who is who. Yeah.
The women's game is the wild, wild west, as Tega likes to call it, and that's where we're heading to right now. The women's side of things at the U.S. Open, where Jessica Pegula said she had surprised herself by shaking off a poor run of form to reach the U.S. Open semifinals for the second year in a row on Tuesday. Now, the American fourth seed, who was a beaten finalist in New York last year, saw off Barbora Krejcikova 6-3, 6-3, and is yet to drop a set at the tournament. Pegula looking good.
I don't know why. Well, maybe because I don't play tennis. I never doubt myself. I never do that. I think she has the game. That's not in doubt. She has the game. And so she shouldn't be really bothered or really concerned herself, thinking, asking herself, doubting herself, is she good enough? I mean, she was just in the final last year. And she get a good account of herself in the final, lost 7-5, 7-5 to Sabalenka, which is not a bad thing. Yours is just to work at her. I understand she's not had a great year. Yes, that should worry her, but that shouldn't make her doubt herself. This is where she belongs to. She belongs to this stage. This is where. And I think probably defeating the Krejcikova, who's had a great tournament. I mean, Krejcikova defeated the teen sensation Boko in her first game. I mean, that got many people saying, whoa. Many people have forgotten Krejcikova is a two-time Grand Slam champion too. So she has it in her game. So maybe probably defeating Krejcikova will give her confidence. And you know what I always say? Maybe not in the US Open, but more often than not, Sabalenka doesn't like playing the American girls. I mean, they make her suffer. I mean, Coco Golf especially, they make her suffer more often than not. Maybe
oh my goodness!
In and amongst the Americans who make Sabalenka cringe and suffer for it, but she has to believe in herself because now, I mean, Krejcikova just got a pass into the semifinals. Vondrousova withdrew, so it's. I mean, she's well rested. She would have an advantage. No, don't make no mistake. But Pegula has nothing to lose. And you have the fans behind you. Trust me, the fans will root. And if possible, they will boo Sabalenka. And we know Sabalenka sometimes, when a game is not going smooth and the fans is against her, it affects the game. So she has a chance, but it first needs to start from her believing in herself that she belongs to this stage and she can do it.
Yes, indeed. You know, when you mentioned Aryna Sabalenka not wanting to see those American girls, just reminded me of the fact that, you know, she lost in the Australian Open final. She lost at Roland Garros as well, I think, to Madison Keys and Coco Gauff. So I don't think she wants to see any of those American girls anywhere because
maybe if she ever wished for any American, probably Pegula. Because I mean, she won against Pegula last time around. It's a repeat of the final and the semi-final. So maybe she's okay. This is the only American I want to see. Pegula has to change her story. Yeah.
Yes, indeed, she does. If she wants to, you know, be at the top of the mountain when it comes to the women's side of tennis. Let's take our first break of the morning. When we come back in, we'll head back into the world of football and we'll be talking about transfers. And we'll be starting with Gianluigi Donnarumma, who has made a move from Paris Saint-Germain to the Premier League with Manchester City. Sabalenka. She's a sore loser, Sha.
She is. I mean, terrible. Herself and what's the other one that was abusing Townsend?
What was it not Ostapenko? Was it Ostapenko?
Yeah, Ostapenko has a terrible temper. Everybody knows that. But man, I don't know. When you win, you smile and you take the accolades. When you lose, they think about it.
I don't mean to sound like, you know, maybe I'm trying to be colorist or something here, but is it an East European thing?
Well, they grew up, most of them grew up not liking blacks. Fact. But you know the tennis circuit. You know when I say if you get to a certain age, if you are a youngster, I understand. If you get to a certain age, there's no excuse because the tennis circuit, they travel as a family, as one. Everybody playing tennis right now that has been in tennis for, say, 2-3 years, they know everybody's family, everybody knows themselves because they're all going to the same tournaments, usually traveling at the same time. booking flights at the same time. It's some of them since the junior circuit, they've known themselves. So you should have outgrown that. I mean, you can imagine what the likes of the Williams sisters faced when there was little or no black playing the game. But now the game is saturated with Asians, Africans. You see them every day.
It's a melting pot now. It's a serious melting pot now.
I mean, it should. I don't know. As a professional, even if you don't look, I've worked with people I don't like.
But you can't be professional.
In my head is mind what you say. Every time I want to speak, I first take my time to think about what I want to say. So I appear to speak slower when I'm speaking with people I don't really like, because in life you don't have to like everybody. But I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to be speak negatively about them. So I mean, you are a professional. You win, you lose. This is not the first time you're losing. This is not the first time you'll be, or first time you'll be winning. You should be able to check your emotions. Yeah, I understand. She's just holding on to what doesn't make sense. And our protest was that when the ball hit the net and dropped, courtesy, I mean, tennis courtesy, it's not a rule. You just apologize. I mean, it wasn't that you won outrightly. It was the net that helped you. And Townsend didn't. You make your complaints there and then when she didn't, and then go on with the game, and then you lose, you walk out the court. But Simple. She was on and on about it, and she started making statements she shouldn't have. And those statements were borderline racist, but they were derogatory. Very, very. Get an education. What do you mean get an education? What do you mean? For a professional, I mean.
Leave that.
I know she will be fine and everything, but you're not going to stop her. If you have, I mean, usually tennis players, if you have a temper, you take it out on your rackets.
Even that can get you in trouble.
Yeah, I mean that still makes sense to anybody else watching.
And taking it out on your opponent.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive back in. Welcome back into the locker room on a Wednesday morning, 35 minutes past 8 a.m. The smooth breakfast is in smooth flow. Ayokunmi right here with you. Alongside me is Ibitayo Daramola. Yes, the sports giant himself. We're taking a look at what's been going on in the world of sports and what is to come as well. We also look forward to hearing your own thoughts and perspectives on the issues. You can join us this morning on WhatsApp 0911 999 0981. 0911 9990981. Also join us on YouTube if the audiovisual is your thing. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Leave your comments as you always do. I'll get to them ASAP. We talked about FIFA and the silence over the South Africa Lesotho match where an ineligible player was fielded. What do you think about that? Do you think that even if those points are docked at the end of the day, it kind of opens the door for the Super Eagles? Do you think so? Let us know your thoughts. Share them with us on WhatsApp. All right, let's get back into the stories here. Like I mentioned earlier on, we're talking about transfers and specifically talking about Manchester City. Now, they have confirmed the signing of goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma from PSG on Tuesday for a reported fee of around 35 million euros. The 26-year-old has penned a 5-year deal with Ederson heading to Fenerbahce after 8 years at the club. Very interesting things going on at City. I mean, it's not unusual for a club to sign a goalkeeper. City have signed 2 goalkeepers in one transfer window, Donnarumma and James Trafford from Burnley. I think he was a City boy at some point before moving, and then he's moved back again and all that. What could be going through the mind of Pep Guardiola? I mean, after what happened last season where they had a terrible run, where it seemed like, that era was over. And then this season, they haven't exactly been, 100% losing to Brighton over the weekend and all that. What do you think Pep could be thinking, bringing 2 goalkeepers in this window and all that?
Ben, Pep has surprised me. I'll give it to him. I used to think he was stuck in his ways and he would I mean, he used to be until he came to the Premier League and knew he had to adjust. And first major adjustment he did was splurging on a striker when he got Haaland. I thought he was used to the system where, I mean, he made the false nine very popular. And he was comfortable with that. He won so many times, so he won with that. So he was comfortable with that. But he realized in the Premier League things have to change. And also in the Champions League, it seems everybody has figured him out. Got an Haaland, yes, went on to win the Champions League, but ever since then, it's been downhill for him. He signed players, so many players around, but the fact remains that that system, playing from the back, only very few goalkeepers can do that. Very, very few. And Pep is worried. The problem you have with players and human beings is that if they get to their peak, consistently performing at your peak is not something you can do. Everybody can do. Mentally, once you hit your peak, you want to take it easy and to slow down. They hit their peak when they won the Champions League, won the treble, won the whole lot. And ever since then, I don't think the players have been able to get it up mentally. He's been trying to chop and change around, and Ederson would not be any exception. Ederson wants a new challenge too. I mean, saying that he's making more errors than what he used to. I mean, it was quite surprising. Ederson is solid with his feet, solid with his hand. But why I'm saying that Pep has surprised me that he has gone for a goalkeeper who was booted out of his club. Okay, maybe not use that word. Whose position in the club shifted because his coach said he wanted a ball-playing goalkeeper. And brought in the ball-playing goalkeeper. And Donnarumma, who is assumed not to be a ball-playing goalkeeper, but unarguably one of the best goalkeepers in the world, has been taken by a coach who always favors ball-playing goalkeeper, which is quite interesting. So is he going to in his style of playing from the back? Because that has done 3 games into the season, that is not working for him. So, I mean, is he going to jettison his style? Is he going to change playing from the back? Because, I mean, you have a big man up front in Haaland. I mean, if you have a solid goalkeeper, why make him do extra work?
But you can go route one.
Yeah, he has made it clear, though. I mean, nobody is Ederson, and I quite agree. Pep said that nobody is Ederson, and I quite agree. Nobody is unarguably one of the great goalkeepers. But if your style you've used for years, there is one which consistently is no longer working. As the gaffer, you have to find a solution. And I mean, if Donnarumma is the solution, then I mean it's a good solution, I think.
Well, let us see if that solution is going to solve Manchester City's woes. An indifferent season they've had so far. I think this international break probably would be a good thing for them, but as we've seen historically, it can work out for you, and you can have players coming back injured. So prayers and fasting is what many managers will be doing right now. All right, so talking about transfer business, let's talk about Alexander Isak. And as Roose Dawson said in Titanic, it's been 84 years, but after a long, drawn-out back and forth, he finally got his move to Liverpool. And he said that it had been an honor to play for Newcastle, as he thanked the club supporters in a farewell message following that move to Anfield. Do you think the Newcastle supporters will take that farewell message and, wish him well and all that, bearing in mind everything that transpired before the transfer actually happened?
I love fans. Fans will always be. Unfortunately for him, the Newcastle fans, I mean, they are not behind him. I mean, go on social media. There's been that. I mean, they were livid. They believe the down tools. They believe the down tools to force a move, and it's double standard because the other striker they got in Johan Wissa also down tools, and nobody's pointing fingers at Johan Wissa. But I mean, they got good cash. I mean, 125 million pounds. It's a record.
It's a record, yeah.
But the manner was I'll be honest with you, was distasteful. We've watched football a long time where we see players want to leave a club, voice out that they want to leave the club, but still wear the jersey and play for the club and give their all. But they make it known that we want to leave, but they still give their all and still play. They don't. The way I always see it, I believe if you want to leave, you can be vocal about it. But when time for game comes up, you don the jersey and you play not just for the fans, but for the manager, who in the first place are trusting you and built you up to the level you are currently are. And
Right,
of course,
right.
your teammates more importantly, because to them they might not say a lot, but yes, they want you to get your bag, like we like to call it. They let you get your bag, but sometimes it looks as if you've let them down. And if you look at Lucas's game this season, their lack of striker has cost them some close games. That ordinarily the way they played, they would have won. They would have won the game. But the compensation for Newcastle is that, I mean, the fee is enough. For the price of for the fee of one, they got two strikers, one proven in the league, another international striker. I mean, young prospects, the future of German football. I mean, it's a good thing to have in your rank. But this season, as a whole, has been the season of complaints from players downing tools to force a move. Except maybe the only player that didn't down his tool to force a move didn't get his move. Ironic.
Ironic. And talking about a player who did not down tools to get a move, we can talk about Mark Gahey here. That is the Crystal Palace captain. The last-minute collapse of his transfer to Liverpool is a story rooted in what we like to call some brinksmanship. Well, who won at the end of the day? I mean, some would say the Palace manager Oliver Glasner is the biggest winner in this one. He got what he wanted, his captain and a solid player, still being in the team. I mean, a deal was agreed and all that. But, I mean, Ty, looking at what has happened here, do you think that Liverpool could come knocking on the door once again in January, perhaps?
Liverpool has made no pretense about wanting Gueye. They've wanted him for 12 months now. And here we are, here we go again. January, they will come in. I mean, they've seen him since last year as the ideal partner for Virgil van Dijk. They've looked at it, ideal age, is on the rise, plays on the national team, consistent, and adds it, chips in with goals too. So, I mean, perfect for them. But sadly, Glasner has looked at it and said, look, Crystal Palace are in no position to let him go. They've lost Eze. Sarr has picked up a knock. Sarr will be out for weeks. Sure. Watson will be out for weeks. So basically, you're lacking leaders. You're lacking leaders. Eze has gone. Sarr injured. Watson injured. You're lacking leaders. And going as the captain of the team, as the leader of the team, Glasner has looked at it and said, look, I mean, I don't know how true that was, but it was said, I mean, he threatened to leave if Gueye didn't stay. And as the club director, Shepard, he would have looked at it like, okay, do I lose Gueye and balance my book, or do I lose a manager who has been exceptional? Exceptional. The way Crystal Palace play, it's a system Glasner has made perfect. And the players they've scouted, they fit right into that system, and it's nice. Maybe because they didn't get the ideal replacement, that's why it's delayed. But it's inevitable. Gueye won't sign an extension. His contract expires next season. 35 million was the offer from Liverpool, was far and above valuation. It was a genuine offer. That's why Shepard wanted to jump at it. But he has chosen to show faith with his manager and say, okay, I believe in you. I'm going to give you what you want. But at the end of the day, they're going to be losing 35 million because he will be living on the free. The club director won't like that. But it's a fine balance managing a club between keeping the fans happy, keeping the coach happy, and keeping your books happy. So I don't envy Shepard, but Liverpool will have to wait till January. They still have that defensive worry. That defense, yes, it stood well against Arsenal, but there's that worry that defense is not good enough to compete for the championship.
All right. When time has flown by, but I just want to talk about the Victor Boniface, as Jimmy Carragher said. Victor Boniface. It still makes me laugh up to this point. Just quickly talk about this one. He has successfully completed a loan move to Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga, and this is after a move to AC Milan did not transpire. If you remember as well, there was a talk of a move to Al Nassr in January, but they decided to go with John Duran. instead. So he's moved to Werder Bremen right now. Is this a good move for him, at least to reignite his career, perhaps?
I mean, I think that's, for me, the whole window, that's the second, the deal that made me happy. I'm very, very happy. I think it's ranked second. Number one, bias, Ayokunmi is number one for me. But it was, at the point in time, it looked as if, where would he be? And let's be honest with ourselves, it's a genuine concern raised by AC Milan. It's a genuine concern. How long can that last? I mean, you've had two surgeries in one place. How long can you hold on? How long will that last? It's a genuine concern. But whether Bremen has said, okay, we don't care, come to the rescue. And I'm sure it was a breathed a sigh of relief. For me, I was really very happy because it looked downcast. Everything looked on the way down. But whether Bremen, you're still in the Bundesliga, a league you're familiar with, a league you've consistently scored against oppositions. I mean, it's not a new environment, just a change in town and city. So he is where he's wanted. Because, I mean, if you go online, I saw he's welcome at the dressing room with the coaches and the backroom staff and the players. I mean, he was welcome there. They know that, I mean, this is also the player that terrorized us. Now he will be helping us terrorize other people. So it's a great move. It's a superb move. If not that I was biased and saying picking Ayokunmi, that would have been the best move by a Nigerian this window.
We wish Victor Boniface all the best in his adventures in Bremen. Hopefully, this will signal a resurgence and reignite his career. All right, let me take your messages. WhatsApp. First of all, Tayo Naja says, Tayo greeting Tayo. True story. He says, it's the suspense that kills the hope of Super Eagles. I've totally removed my mind from that game and chances of qualifying. Games were in their hands. We've had 3 coaches so far and we're looking for technicalities to qualify. Don't let them stain your white. Now the transfer window is closed, like Olamide to Donjazzy. Isak better not enter Newcastle because Magui's journey this season go long. Sterling is living the pensioner dream at Chelsea. Finally, welcome to the Game of Thrones, aka EPL. Pep. He has work to do this season. Victor says, Isak agreed personal terms with Liverpool over 6 months ago. So why did Newcastle not sanction the move? I mean, that is a good question. I think they agreed personal terms in July, end of July, thereabouts. So you just wonder, was it money? Was it something else?
Look, transfers, loads of things goes into transfers. Goye had agreed, and they had sanctioned the move pending with a clause that if they get a replacement. Goye understand this, although that still doesn't make it right. Still wouldn't make him a happy player. But he knew that if they were not getting a good enough replacement, according to them, he's not going to move. So that was in the back of his mind. But, I mean, it's all messy. I mean, it shows that, do we throw away our toys and get our way? Or do we be humble and still not get our way? Because it looks as if those who misbehaved were the ones rewarded.
Right. All right. Ayo from Amu says, concerning the Nigerian Super Eagles and the South African national football team, I think it is unfortunate that now Nigerians are looking for a way we can qualify from the deduction of points. But since it has been applied to Nigeria previously, it should be deducted. The rules are the rules. It should also apply to South Africa. But this is the wake-up call for Nigeria to make sure they win their home and away matches against South Africa. We've already drawn them at home. We're playing them away on Tuesday, actually. So we can qualify for the World Cup because we have to be in that World Cup. Thank you. Well, it's not in our hands at this point in time. Let's be honest. It's not in our hands at all. All we can do is win our games and hope. That's all we can do. This is Gembu Boy says, Isak is a professional football player, but unprofessional. How he handled the way everything turned out. And Pep, it might be time to just take a leave and figure things out. Samuel from Oludia Papa says, Osimhen and Lookman not yet in camp till now is not a good preparation for our World Cup qualifications. Well, they just might be in camp later on today. Let's see how that plays out. And Uche Nawokoye on YouTube says, what a transfer roller coaster. United should have gone for Martinez and the new keeper. Do away with the others. Is it that easy? Did anybody come in for them? Glad all those baggage have gone. Sancho, Anthony, and Garnacho. Liverpool, scary. Well, season's still long. We'll see how that pans out. All right, we need to wrap it up here. Thank you all so very much for the messages. Big thank you to you, Ibitayo Daramola, for joining me this morning. Great time with you on the radio.
My pleasure.
All right. Have a great Wednesday. And then we'll do this again on Friday. All right, Lagos, Nigeria, the entire world. Thank you all so much for keeping it tuned to the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1. Don't go anywhere. 9 o'clock, an interesting conversation to be had on Lagos Talks. I have guests coming in. It's all about Child Cancer Awareness Month. Want to find out more? Stay with us.